Hoffman, VP and General Manager of Alberio Energy. Alberio Energy provides energy advisement, consulting, and brokering services in the procurement area for commercial and industrial customers looking to risk manage their natural gas and electricity needs. I'll be interviewing John Hartnett today, who is our VP of Sales. John?
Good morning, John Hartnett. I oversee many of the national retail companies that are procuring electric and gas contracts and looking for sustainability in their portfolio. We work with customers to help manage that process and be an extension of their team.
Thanks, John. Just wanted to walk you through a few questions today, really what's going on in the market. So what are you seeing regarding commodity markets and what do you see your clients asking for in these current conditions?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The last year of the energy markets has certainly been dynamic, to say the least. We've seen really starting in last October, November of 2021, a resurgence from the COVID level prices and usage demands that the market experienced, kind of running through this winter with low natural gas prices to a major run up in overall commodity prices. So market by market, it's a little bit different in terms of those percentage increases, but overall, the national retail market, we've seen some price increases as high as 30–40%. And coming through this winter, we typically would see dips in the market come March, April, May timeframe. And right now, the market's been holding relatively strong and giving us really no price relief that we normally see. So there's been a lot of concerns from customers in terms of where their contracts are going to end and what their next rates are going to be. So customers are really asking for a greater level of diligence and transparency to what's driving these prices and really what are the different solutions that we can bring or that are available to them in the market to try and solve this current cost issue.
All right, thinking about along those lines, what products or services would you recommend if your customers believe that there may be a dip in energy pricing, getting a little bit away from the volatility and maybe some of the longer term price curves dropping? What type of products or solution set would you recommend?
Yeah, what we tell all of our customers is to always be execution ready. And what I mean by that is it takes a long time to go out and procure a contract, meaning you have to go run a bid, you have to look at multiple suppliers, you want to look at multiple products and multiple terms, and to understand the different offerings takes a period of anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 weeks to get through that internal process. So we suggest the customers go through that process, and we suggest that they look at the market before they define what they want. So once they go through that diligence and that bid, then they become ready to actually execute something when it's coupled with recommendations or diligence around the context of the market. So right now, I think where people look at typically fixed price contracts, you're hedging all of your costs on one given day at what would be perceived to be a height or a peak in the market. So those fixed price contracts sometimes perform really well when the markets continue to rise. And if we do see those dips, then they tend to be priced a little bit above the market. So there's a lot of back and forth today as to how those fixed prices will perform. So where customers are thinking that there's going to be a dip in the market or there's going to be a future buying opportunity, we'd move more towards what's called a block and index, where they're actually buying a piece of their energy for a period of time and giving themselves the ability to layer in additional costs in the future. So the unique thing about the market today is the first 12 months are really the most expensive months in the market. So anything with a little bit of length to it provides a little bit of a discounted price when you're buying power for a 2 or 3 year period. So those block and index contracts have taken a more competitiveness in today's market because it will give you an opportunity to buy down that rate in the future.
So when thinking about buying strategies and those sorts of things, what tools do you equip customers with to analyze what their usage amounts are and how that may change over time, or comparing that to other facilities?
Yeah, it's right now is such a unique time because typically what we do is look back 24 months and grab that usage profile for the last 2 years and then build that out going forward. Obviously, the last 2 years, those usage and those profiles look a little bit different. So it's really an interactive conversation with our customers as to where their business is headed, the impacts that they saw during COVID, and even just that kind of middle ground of 2021. So we'll grab a 2-year look back, and then we'll bring that to the customer, and we'll try and work within the framework of what their business looks like in 2022 or 2023. And if it looks like the usage will be relatively normal in comparison, we'll take that load profile out to bid and see what the market prices that at.
All right, thanks, John. So what do you recommend as next steps in the process for your clients today in interacting and making decisions?
Yeah, I think so many people made so many great decisions in the last 2 or 3 years, and were really focused around the aspects of how COVID affected their contract. So we might have reviewed a contract, we might look at a rate, and we may feel very comfortable with where it's at. But it's always good just to spot check that, look at the contract, make sure that there's nothing in it that you're unaware of, make sure there's not a renewal term or an expiration that you're unaware of. Sometimes there's new accounts that come into a portfolio that might not be under contract. So it's a pretty simple process in terms of just collecting a utility bill and looking at a third-party supply contract and matching that up to understand your timeline. And once you have that timeline, it's working backwards to then put together the package to at least go out and get those bids and understand what that next rate will look like. Usually that happens around a budget season. So where customers are looking at this in a June, July, August timeframe for a budget, a market like this may push that timeline up to a March or an April, a May, where we start looking at that budget impact a little bit earlier and start looking at what those trends are going to be. And then ultimately picking those 1 or 2 sort of market indexes that we want to compare against and track. They always have some type of external volatility to them. And that's really what we want to make sure that we are looking at, diligencing, and kind of, again, building that context for a better understanding.
All right, thanks, John. Appreciate you taking the time today, John, and have a good one.
Thank you very much.